In 2022, Kim and Kanye are going through their drama, and you've spoken very respectfully with both of them throughout this interview. So if you were to offer a piece of advice, as someone who's a father and understands the complexities of raising children and sometimes raising children in co-parenting situations and so forth, what advice would you give the two of them?
I would, first of all, look, I admire him for trying to fight for his marriage. If you have that many kids, you should try to fight for your marriage. And I think he still should. I think that he's amazing talent. He's one of the best. He was at one point in the 2000s, he was my favorite rapper by far. There's no question about it. That's before they even met each other. Kim and I listened to Kanye when he first College Dropout, if I remember. So,
Right.
You can't knock that. You know what I mean? His relationship with Kim has nothing to do with how I feel about him as a talented human being. But I think that him wanting to take his kids to church, I think that's amazing. I think he's amazed what he's done with that. I think also his music is amazing. What he's able to produce, the things that he's done, what he's accomplished. He says he's a billionaire. So we have to say Kanye's a billionaire. That's something to be said, so you can't, I don't think it's about the money for him. I think it's about, at this point, him being a good dad to his kids. And I think that's awesome. So I hope that they're able just to work it out in that way where they can co-parent, and be co-parent warriors with each other. You know what I mean? Because it's important to the kids,
Yeah, absolutely, man. I hope it works out. 'Cause at the end of the day, the kids are really the ones who are going to take the loss.
Yeah.
I mean? Both parents are going to have other relationships going to go on with their life, but I think this is a very important time with a lot of very young kids also,
Yeah, I think,
and,
so.
I hope they work it out in whatever way that is.
Yeah, that's me too. I'm always a champion in that,
Yep. Well, Damon Thomas, man, I gave you a call before our interview and I said, and this is a rarity for me because usually I'm on top of it, but I'm like, you have so many records that I'm having problems figuring out what to even talk about. Like, what are the huge records versus the very big records and so forth? Because there's so many. The catalog is so extensive. And I feel like you not really being a public person that's all the way out there like a lot of other people, people don't realize the breadth of the catalog and the movie stuff that you were doing. Like, I didn't know about Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
And you see what I'm saying? Like,
well,
I just got lost with all the other movies that you did.
Yes, a lot of movies, it's funny to see Harvey Weinstein went through what he went through. He was at the studio with us when we did Bobby. That's his movie. So to have all these heavyweight people in the studio with us was amazing. It was just an amazing journey,
Well, The Help was Weinstein's movie also, right?
Yeah, we did both of those movies. So, after that, when we did The Help, that was, we were nominated for a Golden Globe, and to be able to go to the Golden Globes was such a cool thing, or the Oscars, any of that. It's so cool because you walk up, Brad Pitt's right there, this person's right there. They're there, you're in a different. It's much different than the music stuff, and I love it all. Love the Grammys, I love the Golden Globes, the Critics' Choice Awards, the Oscars, all that stuff is amazing. To be a part of any of it in your journey of music. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, and I've been a part of all of that. So, outside of me marrying a very famous person who wasn't that person at the time when we got married, we were just two young people in love. I've done my thing as well as she. I'm just not going to now start talking about it. So we could talk about these songs if you want to talk about some of them right now, but I think we should do a series where we talk about the song. And if you're up for that, I'm down with that. And I could break
Damon
it down.
Thomas, man. Oh, yeah. Damon Thomas, man, I appreciate you coming in and sharing your story. I think a lot of people are going to be shocked, when they hear about the whole catalog and they hear about the whole story and so forth. Because like I said, you're a very low-key guy, but I feel like it's important for people like yourself to get your flowers. Because a lot of times producers as a whole are really under the radar for a lot of people.
Yeah.
They're not the guys on stage. They're not the girls in the video, and they're not doing the Good Morning America interviews and so forth. But you guys and girls are just as important, sometimes even more than the actual artists. Because not only are you producing, but oftentimes you're also writing the songs.
I write. So anything I produce, I'm a writer on. It's not like
exactly.
They go hand in hand with me. And I'll say this to you. Most people say that when you switch over to the business side, the after the split with Harvey and I in 2015 or 16, whenever it was, almost 2016, I took the time to educate myself business-wise to understand things that I didn't understand and to build a roster of talent from the ground up. And to teach them about ownership and educate them before we release things this year. I think we have a responsibility to artists because things are different now. Anytime that you have hip hop artists coming out independent and making more money than pop artists because of their deals, I had to figure that out. How is this? Ain't nothing wrong with being a rapper. That's but how are they making 10 times more money than this guy? And you're supposed to be the elite, but because they own it. They were smart enough to own it. So the reality is a lot of hip hop artists were smarter than R&B producers or pop producers because they figured out how to own their business. So I said, hey, man, I got to go do some catch up and figure it out so that I can own my business and then educate people on the mistakes or the things that I've learned along the way. Because now, look, if Harvey and I'll just throw a number, if we made 50 million, they made 600 million. So I don't want to be the guy that makes $1 million and leaves 10 million on the table anymore. I want to make my money. So that's kind of where I'm at, and it's not so for me as a writer and producer, I do the music because I love it. My whole headspace is I can give the music away to go sell some product. I want to sell t-shirts and makeup and other stuff. So, and I got that. So if you want to go back to Kanye, you learn that from him. You learn he doesn't care about his record sales. He sells product. Period.
Oh yeah, no. Donda 2 came out on a $200 stem player, and I think that's it. I think it never even hit streaming services. Yeah,
kudos to him for selling like anytime you got Gap, Balenciaga, and whatever and Adidas, like he's gonna be set. So
Oh yeah. Well, Damon Thomas, man, I appreciate you doing what I feel is your first real sit-down interview with Vlad TV. It's definitely an honor with someone of your stature. I learned a lot from just, not only talking to you, but really going through the research. I didn't realize how much of a fan I was. I didn't know how many songs I was listening to or movies I was watching that you actually had your hands in, man. So I was very humbled by going through the process. And I totally appreciate you coming in and talking and looking forward to doing more things with you.
I'm looking forward to it. Let's get it.
That's what it is. Peace.
All right, man.